Hello everybody and welcome to the second deck tech of today. I'm still sick, recording this the same day, but I have a very interesting and fun deck to show off today. This is Rakdos Burn, but not the kind of Rakdos you would think. So let's just go ahead and start talking about the deck. First, and this basically sums up the theme of the deck, Mob Rule. 6 mana, choose one. Gain control of all creatures with power 4 or greater. Untap them and they gain haste. Or do the same but with creatures with power 3 or less. This in many games can just be a 6 mana win the game card. Super powerful, I love this card, but it sucks to have it played against you. Next, we're going down to 5 mana. Is Jaya Ballard. 5 mana for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. Has 2 upticks. The first one says add 3 to your mana pool. You may only spend it on instant or sorcery spells. Its second uptick allows you to discard up to 3 cards, then draw them many cards. And lastly, the -8 gives you an emblem, which basically gives your cards flashback. You earn 2 of those. Not only do they allow us to play Jaya and get more spells out, but they allow us to go through the deck to get rid of stuff we don't want, and to ultimately just stomp over our opponents with an insane number of small spells. Now we're going down to 4 mana with Pyromancer's Assault. 4 mana for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a second spell each turn, it deals 2 damage to a creature or player. Not too good in my opinion, but it does help us deal with creatures, like small creatures that we don't want to waste our spells on, or it's just another thing that's going to be hitting our opponents in the face, which is basically what the deck ultimately wants to do. Next, we're going to go down to 3 mana, and we're kicking this off with Hijack. Gain control of target artifact or creature until end of turn. Untap it, and it gains haste until end of turn. Basically, just take one of your opponent's creatures and use them for your own. We are running 3 of those. Next is another 3 mana card that essentially does the same thing. Active Treason does the same thing, except you cannot choose artifacts. But it does come with the benefit of a less steep mana cost. We're running 4 of those. Those are just alternate art. Next is one of the more unknown but better cards in the deck, I would say, is Tainted Remedy. 3 mana for an enchantment that says your opponents, if they would gain life, they lose that much life instead. Basically, what this deck struggles against is life gain. So if you get this in your hand, it's going to shut off a bunch of life gain decks and essentially make your opponents a lot squishier, so you can kill them out of the blue. Next is Gutter Snipe. 3 mana for a 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. Very strong card. Getting 2 or even 3 of these onto the battlefield can sometimes just flat out win you the game because of all the cheap spells we have in the deck. We run 4 of those. Next, Electrostatic Field. 2 mana for a 0/4 defender. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you deal 1 damage to each opponent. While this is a weaker effect than Gutter Snipes, the fact that it's a 2 mana defender means you can hold off enemy forces long enough to start getting spells and your combo set up, as well as it's just cheaper and you can start picking your opponents in the face quicker. Next, we go to Lightning Strike. Honestly, it's just good. 2 mana, deal 3 damage to any target. Solid card, especially in combination with Gutter Snipe and Electrostatic Field. That's why we run 4. Next, we're actually going to start seeing some black cards, surprisingly enough. First, with Severed Strands. 2 mana, as an additional cost to cast this, sacrifice a creature, and then you gain life to the sacrificed creature's toughness, and then you can destroy target creature an opponent controls. What you're going to notice is with a lot of these cheap black spells, you want to use these in combination with your Active Treasons or gain control effects. Because essentially what you can do is you can gain control of a powerful creature an opponent controls, then use that as sacrifice fodder to blow up something they have, essentially giving you a free attack, but also creature removal, well, double creature removal for the price of 1. This deck is super annoying to go against, but it's fun to use. Next is Brute Strength. 2 mana, target creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn, and it gains trample. Really just a good surprise card if your opponents are going to chump something out. And also because it's cheap, you can just cast it for as an instant and deal some damage with Gutter Snipe. That's why we run 2 of these. Next, we're going into the 1 mana, basically the 1 mana cards. These are basically there to trigger Gutter Snipe and Electrostatic Field a bunch to just machine gun your opponents down. First is with Renegade Tactics. 1 mana, target creature can block the turn, draw a card. 1 mana, draw a card. Not only is that really good, but if you need, you can make something unable to block, which allows you to gain control, swing in, and potentially do more shenanigans. The card also replaces itself, meaning you can get even more instant or sorcery value out of it. Next is Expedite. 1 mana, target creature gains haste until end of turn, draw a card. You're never really going to be using the haste part of this, mostly because you only want to attack with your opponent's creatures, and your own creatures are too valuable to attack with. So you're mostly just going to be using this as card draw, which isn't too bad, but also isn't the best. We run 2 of those for that reason. Next is Shock. So 1 red, it deals 2 damage to any target. Again, solid and versatile. It being 1 mana means you can actually shock your opponents in the faces to do not only 2 damage, but crazy damage if you have Gutter Sniper things on the field. Next, we have Bone Splinters. 1 mana, sacrifice your own creature to destroy a target creature. Again, using this in combination with Active Treason is stupidly good, giving you essentially 4 mana, destroy 2 of your opponent's creatures, and giving you a chance to attack with them before you do so. I just love this card so much in this deck. We run 4 of those. Next, it's time for lands. Get out of here. So first we have 2 dual lands, 2 Cinder Barons, taps for a red or a black, and they enter tapped. Next we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 swarms. We don't run too many swarms. I would suggest run 2 more swarms and take out 2 more red sources, just because while there isn't too much black in this deck, you do need black to use a lot of your spells. And finally we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 mountains. So that brings our total up to, let me do some quick math. I don't know, I forgot. But basically, while it does have a lot more lands than usual for a burn deck of this type, we use those to get up to Jaya or Mob Rule. Now, basically, I just want to show you what one of the good starting hands is in this deck. And usually, you're going to see starting hands pretty similar to this. Essentially, what you want to do is you want to keep a hand with at least, here, let me throw in some lands as well. So a hand like this would be pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, get out of here. So if you have 1 or even 2 Gutter Snipe, if you have 1 Gutter Snipe, you might want to keep your hand. It comes down to preference. But if you have 2, definitely keep it. These are gigantic threats in this deck. This is also, you have your 2 mountains, not too much mana, but you have a field, and then some burn spells. The deck does do very, very good in 1v1s. Just because your opponent is at such a low life total already, that just like 3 or 4 well-placed spells can end your opponent quickly. Overall, this deck is super fun to play. It's also pretty budget for how effective it is, but I hope you guys learn from this deck, you use it, it is super fun, and piss off your friends with it by taking their creatures, sacrificing them to destroy their own creatures, all while destroying their life total. Rakdos. Anyway, have a great day. Hopefully you enjoyed this deck tech. If you didn't see the other one I posted today, I will link that in the description because I posted 2 today. I didn't post last week on time. But yeah, hopefully you like this. I will see you next time. Have a great day.